Okay, now we look at the pre-assessment. Pre-assessment is something that before we are doing or conducting our risk assessment, so the first thing that we need to do is to do the pre-assessment. Actually, for the pre-assessment, there are two things that we need to do. The first one is the information gathering, and the second one is the classifying work activity. So this is the pre-assessment thing that we need to do, right? Okay, in terms of the information gathering, so we have to gather the information in terms of the facilities in the organization, and then we'll have to look at the process and activities of the organization, so including the area map of the workplace location, and then we have to look at the site plans, so we have also to look at the neighboring organization. Sometimes neighboring organization or neighboring factory or industry will give some effect to our company, maybe in terms of the environment, for example, the release of smoke, the release of dust, so this kind of thing will give some side effect to the organization, and then we also have to observe on the process flow and also chart, process flow chart of the company. What is the activities done on that organization. And then we have also to look at the inventory of materials, such as raw materials, chemicals, waste, product, and also sub-product of the organization. And next, we have to gather information on the toxicology and other health and safety data. So maybe the organization is conducting research, or they are doing product that is related to the virus, related to the use of chemical. Then we have to look at this kind of data. So basically, if the company is running an activity related to chemical, then basically most of the workers must undergo health surveillance, which will be done annually, to see the health condition of the workers who is working or handling hazardous chemical. We want to see either there is a side effect from handling the chemical. So we want to get the health screening report from the OHD doctor, occupational and health doctor, to see either there is a side effect on the health of the patient, Alright, and then of the worker. And then the last one, you have to look at also at the monitoring data. Maybe you want to look at the data for the noise exposure, chemical exposure, radiation exposure to the worker. So this is very, very important. And then the second one, when we talk about the classifying for work activities, so then we have to classify. We can classify the work activity based on the maybe from the geographical areas, within or outside the premise, and then we also can look at the stage in production process or in the provision of a service, and what kind of activity that the workers do in the organization, maybe in terms of the working as the process of cutting, the process of packaging. So we can divide or classify this kind of activities. And then the next stage, we can also divide or classify work activities according to the task done by the workers, such as driving, window cleaning, housekeeping, and many others activities. And then next is we can also identify working group. So we can identify whether the workers in the category of top management, maybe the category in the workers in the category of supporting staff, or maybe the workers is in the category of operating staff. Alright, so we can classify them into working groups. And then the last one, we can also classifying work activities based on the land use, or previous property use, or for the based on the future use. Alright, now we look at the methods of identifying hazard. So basically we have 4 methods of identifying hazard. So the first one is by reviewing documents and publication. So we can review such as accident report. We can review on the workplace inspection report, and also we can review from a publication, a journal, which is research that have been conducted by other people, or researchers. So we can identify from that kind of documents. Alright. Now the second one, the second method is through inspection and observation at the workplace. So this is very important. So by conducting an inspection at the workplace, then we can identify hazard in the workplace. So as for reminder, so workplace inspection is compulsory as stated in OSHA 1994, in which at least the inspection for the workplace inspection must be done at least once in every 3 months. So this is the minimum requirement as stated in the OSHA 1994. And then number 3, we can also identify hazard through measurement of the atmospheric monitoring, the environment or medical surveillance of workers. Alright, so we can see, we can also identify it through the monitoring, monitoring environment such as the noise, lighting, ventilation, and also we can look at the medical surveillance to see the health condition of the worker, if they are working or operating or handling hazardous chemical. Alright, and then the last one, the methods is through hazard analysis. So there are so many hazard analysis. So for example, we have a hazard identification checklist, or maybe we can do job hazard analysis or job safety analysis. Alright, so we look at it one by one. Alright, the first one, document review. So you can see from the report of accident investigation, and also from the annual audits, And then in terms of the publication, so we can look at the publication of acts, regulation and code of practice. We have to look at the latest update for the acts. For example, right now the new amendment of OSHA 1994 has been done, but we still waiting for the enforcement of the act, in which the new amendment OSHA 2022 still pending on the enforcement in which we are waiting for the announcement from the minister to announce the enforcement of the act, the enforcement of the act, new act. And then we can also look at the statistic in terms of the statistic of accident in the workplace. We can also review handbooks. We can also review chemical safety data sheet. So because safety data sheet contains a lot of information related to the chemical that we use. For example, on how to handle the chemical, how to store the chemical. So what is the hazard of the chemical? So, and then in the event of emergency, what we should do to clean up the waste. Alright, so all of those information can be obtained through the safety data sheet. Right, and then for the inspection and observation, we can look at the types of inspection and also documentation for the inspection or observation. So basically we have a few types of inspection. This first one, we have a statutory inspection. So this is for the registration and renewal of registered machinery. For example, boilers, goods and passenger lift, and then lifting machine or crane, and then what else? Unfired pressure vessel. So all of those machinery, as I mentioned, are required to have a valid certificate of fitness before we can use or operate that machineries. Alright, and then we can also have a periodic inspection, formal and also informal inspection. So this inspection, all of this inspection maybe can be done by the competent person, maybe can be done by the worker, maybe can be done by the safety and health committee member. Alright, and then in terms of the documentation, all of the inspection must be done in accordance to the checklist or inspection worksheet, and all of the inspection must be documented. So we can use all of the documentation as a reference in the future. If there is an accident happen, if there is a health issue on the patient, on the worker, then we can refer easily to the document. And then inspection and observation must involve supervisors, managers and employees. So this is very important. The involvement on all of the people involved in the workplace. And then the inspection outcome must be included with the recommendation. In order to maybe to solve a certain issue in the workplace. Alright, and then from the recommendation we have to set the time frames to execute the recommendation. So we have to assign the person in charge, and we have to set the time frame so that we can see how long that specific problem can be solved. So it is depend on the level of risk. If the risk is very high, then we have to put an immediate action. So that we need to state the time frames. And then the last one is to ensure follow up on action in order to ensure the effectiveness of the recommendation or action that have been taken. And so this is one of the important part. Follow up whether the task has been completed or not.